Greetings. Peter Parkours left a comment the other day, and he said that he was considering spending one day a week just going out into the woods and trying to live out there with minimal or very, very little equipment. This got me to thinking about an old exercise I knew about that can probably benefit a lot of us. There's this concept of being on a path in life. And in some other videos, I've spoken about getting off the path that you're on. But here I'm talking about having a conscious path and staying on it. Take all this with a grain of salt, remembering that sometimes we're going to be on a path and we're going to think, you know what, I need to change my trajectory. There's nothing wrong with that. Hopefully our life evolves as we go along and we can wisely shift our path, taking the lessons from our past experiences and adding them into our new direction. Also remember that if we're holding too strongly to something, sometimes we can do that blindly. We can become so obsessed with something that we're missing other opportunities that arrive in our life. So as I move forward with this video, think about being flexible in the path that we're following. But here's the thing, for most of us, being really on task is not the problem. Usually in our culture, the problem is being distracted. If we think about our culture for a little bit, it is built on distraction. That's what entertainment's all about. So in any given day, there are 1,000 things calling to us, saying, look at me, look at me. We can spend so much time surfing the web, watching movies, watching television programs, listening to radio broadcasts, all kinds of things. Sometimes we can do these things consciously and they can enrich us, but a lot of times, for a lot of us, these are just distractions. It's just fluff. It's junk food for the mind. Now, here's this exercise. The first thing you do is you take a piece of paper and you write down some of the things you're really passionate about, that you want to be paying attention to in your life, the things that you want to be on your path. It might be getting good at leather work because you've had a taste of this and you really want to hone your skills. It might be getting in shape. It might be learning to cook. It might be going deeper into your faith or into meditation. It might be developing really strong prepping skills or wilderness skills. Now, we can write down those things and we can say, oh, wouldn't it be cool if I was super good at these wilderness skills and I could just start a fire anytime in the woods. But the reality for most of us is we have those ideas of what we'd like. But when it comes to going out and doing that thing or watching television, television would be so much easier. Here's what you do. You've got that piece of paper, and that has this list of things that you want to include on your path. Now, get any kind of a stopwatch. All you need is a stopwatch that you can start and stop, and it's going to continue to monitor the time. And then for one day, use that stopwatch and turn it on whenever you sit down to watch television, whenever you surf the web, whenever you do anything. Maybe it's reading kind of a Fluff magazine. Whenever you do anything that's just distraction, turn on that timer, that stopwatch, and keep track of how much time. At the end of the day, you're going to have a reading there. It's going to say you spent 10 minutes or an hour or 2 hours or 4 hours on the Fluff. Now, you get that amount of time, let's say it's 3 hours that you spent that day in distraction. Then just sit down with that piece of paper and ask yourself this simple question. What would happen if I would have taken those 3 hours and I would have devoted that to practicing my wilderness skills. Whoa. Most of us, the thing is, we're going to be very surprised at how much time we have available to us. Because a lot of times what we'll hear is when we think about, okay, it'd be really great if I could deepen my meditation practice, or if I could really start developing those wilderness skills, my fire making skills. But then we think, here it comes, I just don't have time for that. There's all this other stuff in my life. True. But again, for most of us, when we look and we see how much time we're spending on distraction or fluff, it's going to be eye-opening that we have a large amount of time available to us in any given day or week that we could be devoting to some serious skill building, some serious conscious intake of media, some serious exploration, some serious self-evolution. This is one of the little hidden dirty secrets in our culture. We're given this message that we don't have time, but boy, oh boy, our culture is so good at distraction, at distracting us, giving us all these offerings, that we hardly notice how much time we spend upon them. So, grab a piece of paper, write down those things that you're excited about developing in your life, grab a stopwatch, any kind of timer, keep track for that day of how much fluff time you spend, and then sit down at the end of the day and think about what that day would have been like, how much you could have learned if you had spent that fluff time deliberately building skills. I think most of us will be surprised. Please share in the comments any thoughts you have about this exercise, or places in your life where you've found that you're spending extra time that really isn't serving you in a positive way. And if you have switched from spending some of that time in fluff to spending some time building some skills, share the skills that you've been building. You can inspire us all. Thank you, my friends.